so much for coming. It's wonderful to have you all here. I think art is so important in getting our message out because it can be so moving and so personal, and that's really important in the struggle that we have ahead of us. One Law for All, the campaign against not just Sharia law in Britain, but all religious laws in Britain, uses art, but other means as well, to try to get out our message, from rallies and seminars to a book that we've published called Equal Rights, Sharia Law in Britain, that's against equal rights and one law for all, a threat to equal rights and one law for all. And all of this is in aid of trying to raise awareness on the issue and also mobilize support against Sharia courts, religious courts, against medievalism and brutality, and against some of the most heinous acts against humanity and women and children in particular. While we do all of this to oppose religious laws, to stand up for secularism, to stand up for human rights, we mustn't forget the human being. Why we do this, because the human being is sacred. Not religions, not cultures, but the human being.
Yes.
And definitely not regressive political movements like the Islamic movement. We've dedicated this week to Sakineh Mohammadi Ashtiani, a woman who's facing death by stoning in Iran. Not because her case is rare, but because her case is the case of so many people across the world. Gagged, bound, veiled, stoned, beaten. And we hear excuses for all of this in the name of cultural relativism, saying that it's people's culture, it's people's religion, we have to tolerate it, we have to respect it. In reality, we have to choose whose culture are we talking about. Sakineh Mohammadi Ashtiani, who's been fighting for her life, her son, who's a transport worker, who's never left Iran, she has a 5th grade education, who demands to live, who wants to live, or the culture of the Islamic Republic of Iran. We have to choose. And the One Law for All campaign, and all of you, and so many others at the forefront of this battle against Islamism, have chosen the culture of Sakineh, have chosen the culture of her son Sajjad, her lawyer, Hutan Kian, who's in prison right now, the culture of 21st century humanity versus a culture of barbarism and medievalism, which is Sharia law and Islamism. What we need to remember is that Sharia law is not the demand of Muslims, it is the demand of the Islamic movement to restrict rights, to restrict freedoms, to limit the way we can, to limit the fact that we can't even breathe under its rules. And yes, they are not stoning people to death in Trafalgar Square, but their courts are denying women rights in the family that are just as important. The right to divorce, the right to custody, the right to marriage, the right to inheritance. Women's testimony is worth half that of a man's under Sharia law. It's a scandal. It's a scandal. And nonetheless, business goes on as usual. And what we want to say is that it's a scandal. We need to stand up. We need to be counted for. It matters. Throughout history, progressive social movements have stood up to reaction and changed the world for the better. And we are doing the same today. Standing up to the Islamic Inquisition and its Sharia courts. And standing for human culture, humanity, and a 21st century that really is worthy of all the people who live in it, irrespective of what their beliefs are and not. I want to remind you, though, that this all costs money. And it's important to fund us, to support us, because we don't get money from the Saudi government and the Islamic Republic of Iran.
Why not?
As the Muslim Council of Britain does, and the political wings of Al-Qaeda, in my opinion. We need your support. That's the only way we can manage. So do donate to us. Do buy our report. It gives a very good summary of the situation in this country. And remember that the fight against Sharia law is not a fight for Britain. It's a fight for the world. It's a fight for the world. And the far right that attacks Muslims, that attacks immigrants, they are our enemies too. They are our enemies too. And we, as citizens, global citizens across the world, we stand united against the fascism of our era. And we will win. We have no choice but to win. And you, all of us, we have to be so proud to be part of this event, to be part of this movement. All of us are needed. And we look to you for further support. I want to just add that I've done nothing for this event, and thank the brilliance of this art team that we have, from Agnieszka, who's right here, Camilla, who's breastfeeding in the back, Camilla, Margaret Oslo, Chris, Zenia, Tomak, and Amzi. I also want to thank Veronica, whose wine and food you've been eating, home cooked. And daughter Larissa, who's grabbed her friends to come as well. Greg and Augusta, thank you for your help in serving the food and the wine. And also I want to thank our judges. Dia, who's known as the Muslim Madonna, who's been threatened because of her songs and for singing for freedom of expression. Terry Sanderson, who's here tonight with us. Where's the famous Terry Sanderson? President of the National Secular Society. And Polly Toynbee, who's also a columnist and writer. Thank you to the judges. Thank you to all of you for coming here. Don't forget that this is one night in many, many other nights and days in which we have to battle. We need to be accounted for. Silence does equal death, and we need to be vocal. It's not racist to criticize Islamism or even Islam and religion. It is racism, in fact, to relegate millions of people to a barbaric and brutal and medieval system. No way.